G'day Internet, Max right here, and continuing with my State of the Crypto Union address on this playlist. First link in the description. We've gone through a whole bunch of different things. Most of those have been about something specific to the crypto market or Bitcoin market or altcoins, things like that. But we're understanding what's going on here in 2022. So today we're going to zoom out. We're going to look a little bit at the macro. Okay, so how does macroeconomics as it pertains to Bitcoin, what's going on there? All right, well, no news. This is no news for anybody, hopefully. Everyone understands the economy is completely broken all over the world, right? Insane COVID lockdowns and restrictions, crippling of businesses. You've got negative interest rates, zero interest rates. You've got massive amounts of money printing, just unprecedented and ungodly amounts of it. Destruction of currencies, devaluation, just crazy stuff. Incentives to not go to work, massive punishments for being productive, and high taxes if you actually go to work. So crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And the way it's been working is year after year, decade after decade, the central banks of the world have painted over, or papered over, I should say, the any hole in the economy. Oh, let's not let that happen on my watch. Let's just paper over that, flood the world with money, and solve that problem in the short term. Now, this is a disaster. It's an extremely important part of the market it's a creative destruction process. It's the opposite of essential planning. Essential planning, they come up with some idea, they insist everybody does it, and everyone does it. It's the opposite. In the free market, what's supposed to happen is lots of people are supposed to try lots of different things, and lots of different things are supposed to not work. All right, and that's great. We learn that way, and we throw those ideas out. And the ideas that are successful, they attract more capital. That capital attracts more employees. Those things grow, and they work for some amount of time. And then maybe because of some new invention, some new technology, some whatever, even some absolute stalwarts, some things that were amazing, some companies or products or procedures or manufacturing strategies which were just brilliant and made people billions of dollars over the course of decades or centuries. Every now and again, they have to just turn over because some new technology, they have to be allowed to go bankrupt. If the CEO is smart enough and to, tack or jive with the market and stay in front of it, then beautiful. But every now and again, they stay still and they miss an opportunity and they're just a freight train overruns them. Great example would be Blockbuster. It's like, here you are, you're a leader in video distribution, movie distribution. This new technology comes along, streaming, and they just sat still and hoped it went away. It didn't. They went bankrupt, new participants stepped in. So this constant creative, destructive process of the free market is critically, critically important. Shame on us, we have allowed and tolerated politicians and central banks to destroy that process. These things aren't allowed to die anymore. We can't have a big company, or any unemployment on our watch. These things are supposed to happen, and when they don't, we have this build-up of disaster, just build-up of misallocation of resources. And so as a result, we have a relatively small number of people propping up a whole bunch of things that should be allowed to die. Right? They're broken, they're old, they're antiquated, the models didn't work, maybe they did work for a while, they don't work now. They should just go away, new ideas come in, and that's not being allowed to happen, and that is the fundamental problem. Right? It's just, think of it as just trying to, you just got this massive anchor on the back of your boat, and you're trying to go forward, but all of these things that were not allowed to die, they take up resources, they take up intellectual capital, they take up human beings, they take up wealth, they just take it up and they squander it. And that is the anchor that is the economy is trying to drag. Okay, so it's pretty much it's the worst it's ever been in my lifetime for sure, and arguably some of the worst times we've ever seen in history. But this is the calm just before the storm. The market hasn't quite figured that out yet. People are figuring it out, and we're all sitting here trying to figure out what is the Fed going to do, because basically they control what happens next. And it's very, very sad for economists and investors and people who want to do smart things like study businesses, study opportunities, and figure out where we should allocate capital. We're all just sitting here in our hands waiting to see what a bunch of suits at the Fed decide to do, or what a bunch of central bankers or politicians or central bankers decide what to do. And it's an absolute disaster for the economy. So what's their decision? What is the corner that they have painted themselves into? So whenever the economy is going poorly, they do a couple things. Instead of letting things crash, reset, things go bankrupt, instead of letting all that happen, they've come in and done two things: lower interest rates and print money. right? And that is papering over the problem. Things that should be allowed to go bankrupt, things that should be allowed to just go away into the night and release all of that human capital and all of that potential, that's not allowed to happen, right? Now, they're supposed to, in the good times, lift interest rates back up and stop printing money, even destroy money. And they're supposed to smooth things out. That's the advertised claim of the central banks. That is not the purpose of central banks. That is what they tell you they are for. The central banks are, in fact, a cartel. They work together. They're made up of member banks, commercial banks, and the central banks, they are there and they exist for the privilege of the commercial banks. It's there to make them richer. It is there to make them better. It is there to increase their wealth and status in the system. That is what it is. It's a cartel, right? So that's where we find ourselves. Now, this system, the central banking system, it is the privilege, the legal privilege to be able to steal everything off of everyone at a moment's notice, right? If you can just print lots of money and flooded the system with money, what that does, it steals all the purchasing power of everybody else, and they can print. Now, if you had that gift, if you had that legal monopoly, if you had the goose that laid the golden egg, would you use it all on day one, steal everything off of everyone, have them lynch you, and then that be the end of it? No, what you want to do is just slowly peel away wealth year after year after year at a level that most people can't understand. You might even reinvest some of your profits in taking over the education system or the media or some news outlets to make sure this stuff is never reported on, to make sure it's not taught in our schools, right? You would reinvest your profits to control the system such that people can't find out what's going. Most people don't understand, and you can continue to steal all the time. Now, here's a really cool thing. You've got this technological force in the economy. It makes things better. It makes things more productive. It's supposed to make everybody richer, right? And that's what it did for centuries. That's what new technology did. However, what these central bankers have figured out masterfully, in my opinion, evil but masterly, what they have done is they have decided to steal all of the technological gains that happen. So as new technology comes along, things get more productive, we can produce things with less resources, we all should get richer. What they do is, by printing money, they scoop all that money, all that cream off the economy, right? What should happen is prices go down because it's more efficient to produce things, and our quality of life goes up because the goods and services that we need every single day, gas, electricity, cars, houses, the price of it all goes down because we are more productive, we're more efficient at building things, right? Year after year, technology makes it more efficient to build, and the price of everything is supposed to go down, and the quality of our lives go up as a result. That doesn't happen. They print money, cause inflation, steal all the cream off the economy, all of the value that technology brought that year, and they're even kind enough to tell you, we've figured out that if we target 2% above that, so steal all the cream and take another 2%, then we figured out that you guys don't really know how the hell the economy works, and you'll sit there like a frog in boiling water, slowly getting poorer and poorer year after year, and you won't know that we're stealing from you. You'll just be confused. You don't know why the quality of your life's worse. You don't know why you expect your child's life, the quality of their life, to be worse than yours. You don't know why that is, and you can't fight it because you don't know, and that's what they figured out to do. It is brilliant. It's as brilliant as it is evil. So that is what's happening in the economy. That's what they do with inflation. That cartel is there to serve the commercial banks. So if you're an economist and if you live in this la-la land where you think all these politicians and central bankers and the chairman of the Federal Reserve are there to serve us, you might ask yourself a question, something like, oh, they're in a tough situation, like they can raise interest rates and curb inflation, but that might trigger the stock market, and what are they going to do when they're trying the best for us? Forget about it. You're in la la land. You're asking the wrong question. The question you need to ask is, what can they do to enrich themselves the most? And you just know, what is their plan? Do they want to make the most amount of money today? Do they want to make the most amount of money long term? Are they interested in making money, or is it more about power? If you wanted power, how would you go about it? When you start asking yourself those questions, now you are in a much better position to know what is going to happen into the future. And so right now, since the beginning of the United States, there have been, I believe, 47 booms and busts, right? They typically average 4 to 7 years. We are now in from 2008 to 2022, help me out, we're in year 14. 14 of this boom. It is the longest boom in history, right? The bigger the boom, the bigger the crash. So we see some pretty scary things going on. Jumping out of economics for a little bit, but staying in politics, something really, really telling and interesting is happening right now. Not Kevin Trudeau, which is what I said in my last video. Justin Trudeau. If you don't remember Kevin Trudeau, he was a famous salesman, late night TV. He used to sell Mega Memory and so on and stuff. Anyway, great salesman. I really liked it. I've never met him, but he's a good salesman. That name got stuck in my head, and I said Kevin Trudeau instead of Justin Trudeau in the last video. So, okay, yes. So what did Justin Trudeau say? What are they doing there in Canada? You guys are protesting against us. We don't like this. We're going to just go and steal your money. Right? This is like crazy talk. Crazy talk. Now, I've known this is always in the plan. I got a good amount of crypto, right? And I know I could have put it in BlockFi, or I could have put, and I did little bits, by the way, just to test things out. But I can put this money everywhere. I can earn a fortune just earning interest off of my crypto. I haven't done that because I didn't want it in all the systems, because I know the bigger I trust these companies relatively to take care of my money. I don't think they're going to do anything wrong. I think for the most part, they've got good business systems and they're going to be pretty sound. What I'm concerned about is that I say something naughty. Shame, shame. I disagree with the government. And what are they going to come and do? A phone call to BlockFi, keep all of Max's crypto, right? Those kinds of things. Now, like I said, I use all these services, right? I do. I've played with them and I learn them and I want to understand them because I want to understand the crypto sphere. But do I put all my money in there? Hell no. Private keys kept out of the system so nobody can steal it from me. So why did I get into that topic? There's a whole conversation there to be had about crypto for sure, but the reason I brought it up was to bring to your attention that things are coming to a head. What was most revealing about that, I feel like, this is all obvious to me, but I love this shit and I'm all the conspiracy guy. But what was fascinating to me is that, okay, so a lot of people just didn't understand what was going on in Canada, or if they did, they're like, okay, that's a problem. But what I think the part that was really shocking, I think for most people, not for me, but for most people, if they thought about how shocking it was, but most people didn't, is where's the condemnation from the rest of the world? Where are the world's free leaders saying, oh my God, this country's just stolen its citizens' bank account and they now want to make this a normal law that they can do this whenever they want. Anyone disagrees with them, they just steal all their money. Like steal their life savings, it's all gone. Like we're just taking it. Seizing bank accounts, it's all gone. Anybody who disagrees with us, we're just going to take all their money. Like, and no first world leader condemned it. Not the president of the United States, not the prime minister of England, not the prime minister of Australia, just none of it. No one condemned it. What did that reveal to you? They're all planning it. They're all planning. That's what they're going to do. Now, I've known they're going to do that for a decade. That's why I've been involved in crypto for a decade. But this is what they're going to do. So we're moving towards, we are rapidly moving towards this complete totalitarian state. And there's this, people just don't understand how thin the veil is between them and absolute enslavement when you're in these systems, when you're using their banks. I watched something with Glenn Beck the other day, and Glenn Beck was like, oh man, I'm onto them now. I got this covered now. I'm totally on them. I got it. Don't leave money in the big banks. Take my money out of the big banks and stick it in the credit unions. I couldn't imagine a dumber idea. Like, go back to the Great Depression, like the last time they did one of these big moves. What did they do? But at the beginning of the Great Depression, there was 6,000 banks. It was reduced to 600 like 5 or 10 years later, right? 90% of banks wiped out. Massive consolidation and centralization of banking power. It was one of the principal strategies behind the Great Depression when they did it, right? The goal is for the big dogs is to eat up everybody. If a big bank goes down, they're going to get bailed out. Your money's going to be fine. Relative, there's a lot of different strategies they can do. But the little banks, let them go. Just let them die. Let the big banks buy them for pennies on the dollar. Consolidate the power. That's the strategy. That's the strategy. Like putting your money in a credit union or a small bank, small local bank, forget about it. you're in la la land. Your money is much more at risk there than at the big dogs, because the big dogs are running the game. They're running the game designed to destroy their competition and enrich themselves. It's one of the strategies and part of all of this. So sorry, Glenn Beck, but you just missed the mark by a mile on that one. So, big picture, I mean, we're just rapidly moving towards the authoritarian state. We don't have time to go into the whole education system. We don't have time to go into the media. I think anyone on this channel surely understands what is happening. And we see now, it's all about making you weak so that you can't fight back as they enslave you. And at some point it will come to a head. There'll have to be some kind of fight. Half the population is just gone. They're just mentally deranged. Like they're voting for people who are going to enslave them. Okay, that's really like credit where credit's due. They're crushing it, right? Our enemies are doing a fantastic job. Okay. Next, so what are they going to do about the people who have woken up, who have been red-pilled, who have been orange-pilled? What are they going to do about all those people? So they've got plans in place, believe me. And I don't know them. I haven't read any secret documents. I don't know what's said in meetings. You just put the evil hat on, and what would you do to enslave humanity? Well, you just got to irritate and destroy and undermine anybody who's against you. So that they're so busy dealing with IRS audits, dealing with eating that week because they've just stolen your life savings, taken all your money out of your bank account. All of these things, like just don't let them go to work, don't let them save, make them poor. Like all of these things are designed to frustrate and impoverish the citizenry so that when the big move comes, they can't get involved, right? So there's a few little deviations there for sure, but you can't understand the macro until you understand the big picture. If you don't understand the big picture, who's in control, what they're doing, who they're doing it to, what their end game is, what the big strategy is, you ask yourself dumb questions like, oh, I wonder how the Fed's going to help the economy now. Are they going to raise interest rates? You're asking the wrong question. How are they going to enslave you now? How are they going to consolidate their power in the big banks, get rid of all the little banks as competition? How are they going to set themselves up with a mechanism to take everything from you, from anybody who disagrees with them? Those are the questions you need to ask. When you ask those questions, you're going to get, even if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get to the right answer. But when you ask the right questions, you give yourself a chance, right? So, what is going to happen? And I think what most likely will happen is they've let this, there's a lot of problems in the system, right? I think what they're going to do is, I don't know when. We don't know if we're months away, years away, or decades away, but they can keep this going for a while. What they're going to do is they're going to build up this bubble more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And eventually it's going to be the biggest pop ever. It's going to be a Great Depression. They're going to get their absolute Christmas list. Everything they want is going to happen. All of the little guys are just going to collapse. The big guys are going to scoop them up for pennies on the dollar, right? And you're going to have, instead of dealing with millions of small businesses, they're going to have to deal with like 5 businesses. All right, there'll be like 1 bank and 1 Amazon, and that's it, right? And for the greater good, what they're going to have to do is going to be tough times. We're going to have to stamp down on people. We all need to pull together, and fight through these tough times. So we're not going to tolerate any nonsense. Here's the plan going forward. Everyone has to do what we say. And if there's any nonsense, we're going to have to start being very heavy-handed. We'll take your money out of your account. We will, cut you off from all these services that we make you pay for, but don't deliver. Things like that. There's a lot of different ways they can hurt you. And your and my job, in my opinion, in preparation for that, is to make yourself as strong as possible, as independent as possible, as wealthy as possible. Because all of those things are going to count. They make you stronger. And so what's some things that you should do? Well, you definitely should have crypto. It's a big one. It's a big one. We have to build all these systems, right? The only way out of this is to build systems that we don't need them. And then those systems have to be big enough and everywhere enough that we can just live in a parallel universe. No matter how much they cut you out, we can exist in the black market, right? And make it into a physical contact. Like a hot war. That's sadly, but that's the best opportunity at this point. It's either quietly, obediently march into slavery, or all of their system to get you to march in there. Work shall set you free. They put in front of the concentration camps in Germany. All of the strategy, the propaganda, and everything to make you march in that direction. You have to fight it. But of course, when you fight it, they're not going to be, oh, okay, we missed that guy. No, They're going to come after you hard. You have to understand that. And that's, you can help yourself enormously by making yourself strong, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, all of those things, right? So that's very, very important. So what's going to happen in the macro? Look, it's just my best guess. Just my best guess understanding thing. Big, big, big run up, massive crash, right? Massive, massive, painful crash, usher in a new system which they've been planning for decades. They just had to create the right crisis for us to accept this, this totalitarian system, all right? That's what's going to happen. So this is a crypto State of the Union, right? So how do we turn this into crypto? I think there's plenty more downside to crypto. And you got to understand this. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, right? And when I have these conversations with people, there's this concept that there's like a cliff edge. And it's like everything happens at once. And it's not true. It's like things actually take a very long time to happen from some perspective. From another perspective, they happen very fast too. So you always want to be planning ahead and thinking 5 steps ahead. But you got to think about the progression of what things and when you can do is what. So, all right. So on the one hand, we want to maximize our wealth. We want to, like, you know, buy crypto when it's low. We want to do all those kinds of things, right? I understand that. On the other side, you got to make yourself strong first. And having any amount of crypto and having some, like, if you're a trucker who was involved in a protest and you didn't have any crypto and you just had all your bank accounts frozen and you had $100 in your wallet, you're so screwed. You're so screwed. But if you had 20, 30% of your wealth in Bitcoin, now you're not screwed at all. No way. Now you can sell your crypto to any one of your 1,000 friends. You got people lining up to support you for being in that protest, and they'll say, "Yeah, I'll buy your crypto off you, fair market value, no worries here." And boom, you can survive, you can live. But if you've got nothing, you're toast. So there's a balance that each person has to have. You want to be considerate of the fact that, I mean, yes, you want to. If you think the price of Bitcoin is going to go down, maybe you want to wait a little bit before you jump in. I get that, but if you don't have any, that's also suicide. So you got to balance up these risk factors, right? So towards what I'm saying, big picture macro. Here's what I'm expecting. They are, at some point, there'll be a very large and cataclysmic crash, all right? And in my opinion, what will happen on the other end of that, everything is going to go down. Real estate will go down, stock market will go down, crypto will go down, or everything's just going to get smashed. Big time. And if you're sitting on the sidelines with someone else, you can jump back in and buy some and all that kind of thing. You can do that if you have access to your money, right? So you can sell everything, wait for everything to crash and buy back in. But then the question is, do you have the cash, or do they steal everything out of everyone's bank account? That's a problem, something to consider. There's another strategy, well, there's another concept, another strategy to think is what happens after that bottom, what recovers first? And what will happen as a response to that? There'll be a lot of money printing, right? They'll come to your rescue. They'll come to save you, either with money printing or a new monetary unit, maybe the SDR or some other currency that they're planning, whatever. That will come out. And they'll give you pennies on the dollar for what's in your bank accounts and turn it into a new currency for you. All these kinds of strategies. But after that crash, what the result will be, despite the propaganda, a complete breakdown in faith of government. Anything government will be poison. It'll be just get your hands off it. It's evil. It's horrible. Terrible. Get away from it as fast as you can, right? And things that are the most independent of government, things that are the most disentangled from government, is what will win. As a result, I believe that after this massive crash, it will be Bitcoin, gold, and silver, which recovers first and relatively quickly. Stock market, real estate, you combine that with the demographic change and the baby boomers going into retirement and all that kind of stuff, you're looking at a long, long, long time before those things can come back. They could come back 5, 10, 15, 20 years before they come back to present levels. But the crypto and the gold is going to come back relatively quickly. Think 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, something of that order of magnitude. They're going to come back very, very quickly. Because you've got a couple of things coinciding at that point. One, you do have this older boomer generation kind of dying off slowly in time, starting to leave money to their children, all that kind of stuff. Those inheritances come through. Those kids are not investing in the stock market. Those kids want to invest in crypto. If you look at the demographics of a crypto investor, it's all youth. It's all the young guys. They understand this. They're on YouTube. They've been educated. The old folks watching CNN, they don't know anything about what's going on in the economy for the most part. Nothing, right? The kids are into crypto. So you got that demographic happening. You have the fact that it is sound money, and everything that's government related, i.e. fiat, is just complete break of trust in that whole world. It'll be like poison. Get it off me. Nothing to do with government will be how most people go. And in terms of, I don't know if the price of Bitcoin is going to be $1 million or $2. It depends on how much printing they do. But in terms of purchasing power, Bitcoin, crypto, and gold is going to be epic. But how long do we have to wait? I mean, it's been a pretty fun ride from 10 years ago. I can promise you, being in crypto. But how long do you have to wait before that? Well, I don't know when this big thing is happening. But this is why the strong hands in crypto always accumulate during these times. It's like things are tough. It's like, prices are down, and they're just accumulating, knowing with 100% certainty that one day this day is coming. Like the crypto hodlers, they know this. They know it with every fiber of their being that everything I've said in this video is true. That's why they hodl, and that's why they're here. And they just accumulate whenever they can. It's something I suggest for everybody. Accumulate whenever you can. Everybody has to have crypto, or else you're like the trucker in the example I gave, just had everything stolen from him because he went to one wrong protest. Who knew that was going to happen, right? So, all right, guys, that's my opinion on the macro and how it interplays with the crypto market. Let me know in the comments below. Am I way off, conspiracy theorist nut job who doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about? Have I absolutely nailed it and you agree? And it's great to hear some people voice this stuff. Am I going to get banned on YouTube just for even making this video? All of these things are completely possible. By the way, I have a Rumble channel now, and all the videos are backed up there as well. And I might even start making some unique content there because I want to start supporting them. And actually, the day I'm recording this, you won't get this for a few days, but the day I'm recording this is President's Day, Feb 21st. The Truth Social just come out. So no doubt I'll be on Truth Social as well. So take a look. So look for Contrarian Dude on both Rumble and Truth Social. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Like this channel, like the video, subscribe, all the good things. I'll see you soon.